I would say the main issue I see with most traders is not how long it takes to become profitable for them. It's more how much time they waste before they learn to become profitable. What's going on, traders? Welcome back to Bangkok in Thailand. Today I want to answer a simple question that I get a lot by email or people that are joining our academy. And the question is, how long does it take to become a profitable trader? Whether that's in Forex, stocks, futures, whatever market, I think it's pretty much the same. How much time can I expect to spend before I get to my goal of trading profitably? And by that we don't mean like trading full-time necessarily, because that's going to take some more time. But how much time do you need to kind of do the right things, plan things the proper way, and take action until you start to see like your first profitable year, for example? That's when I would say that you're profitable. So I want to show this in a very simple manner, and I'll kind of share with you some stories of people that I've worked with, students of mine, other traders I've seen in the past, and some of my friends too, and myself included, have been able to get there, how much time it took. So I began trading myself in 2013. So that was for me the first time I started to trade. But like most people, when you begin to trade, you don't take things too seriously. First of all, you believe that you're like really good at trading and you can do it yourself. And that's common. I think everyone faces that. And so you don't really get kind of like try to learn or try to get the help from the start. I've seen very few people do this. And so I began trying to trade myself, using a platform myself. I had to learn everything by myself. I started to use some strategies that I found online like this and trading them and trying out if they would work. And things did not work out well for the beginning. And so it took me a long time to be able to kind of understand that if I wanted to trade profitably for the long term, not just like a month or two, but for the long term, I would have to kind of treat this as a business and get some help, get a coach, get a mentor, talk to people that are doing it also. And that's only like 2 years after I began trading or placing my first trade that I actually reached out for help and reached out to different coaches and mentors and started to meet traders in person. And so those 2 years I did learn a lot, but they're not things that like were groundbreaking, amazing things that I learned. They're things that it's like, oh, you do a mistake, you're stupid, and then you learn. And so those were not big breakthroughs, and the breakthroughs I had them after that. So although I don't want to consider that these 2 years wasted because they're part of the process of learning, they're pretty much like useless, right? Because you could be getting a mentor from the start, getting someone to help you out from the start, or getting a coach, or just like learning the right things, even if you're alone, just learning the right things from the start. And you would be saving like maybe, if I took 2 years, you could do it in like a week, right? And that's much less time. So those are things that you can learn without wasting time like this. And for me, that took a long time. Then I wanted to get some coaches, some mentors, some people to help me. And from that point, that's where things started to kind of evolve at a much faster rate, right? Before I was always like losing every month. I had a few good months sometimes that were like profitable and I was really happy. But then I was letting that happiness kind of push me down and make me lose my habits and things I was doing. So after that, when I got a mentor and a coach, it took me around 6 months to a year to solidify what I was doing, like look at the strategies I was applying, which was not really good, how to make it better, and find ways to test it and make it better, and just improving all the areas of my trading, the risk management, the psychology, the mindset, and the strategy. And just improving that took like 6 months. And from there I began to trade more seriously, more like a business, and I became profitable maybe like a year after that. So you'll see that like the biggest part of that whole learning curve and story is pretty much time that I wasted alone and that I didn't really take things seriously. You could do the same thing if you want. You could be doing the exact same process, the same path, and that's going to take you about like 3-4 years to become profitable. Or you can be taking the proper approach and the serious trader's approach to things, which is trying to learn the right things from the start, not wasting time on things that don't produce result, and getting the help from someone, either a teacher, a coach, a mentor, it doesn't matter, but having these ways to kind of shorten your learning curve. And those things will always help. Even though I really believe in the fact that like even though you find a really bad mentor, you can still learn things and you can still move forward. And that's maybe not gonna kind of get you to get your goal faster, but at least you're not wasting time to kind of do these things on your own and try things on your own. At least you will know what works, what doesn't, and that's a good thing. So what I've seen from my student in the past and people that I've talked to and people that I've surrounded myself with over the years is some people take a long time to become profitable. Like I've seen people that it took them like 10 years or plus, and some people are even still struggling after 10 years. That's totally fine. But some people it took like 2 years or 3 years to become profitable. It just depended on how many people they had around them helping them and coaching them and giving them proper advice. And it also depended on how much they took action. Like, you take action every week, you take like one small thing every week, or do you dedicate like 2 hours a day to work on your goals, right? That's going to be varying quite a bit. And it all depends on what time you have available to be able to commit to it and what you do with your time. But it's not just that, right? Take an example of a trader who's having 2 hours a day to work on his trading, like every day, 7 days a week, and he's working on his trading all the time. Versus a trader who's spending like 2 hours a week on the weekend to work on his trading. Maybe the guy having 2 hours a day working on his trading is gonna waste like 10 hours a week or even 12 hours a week reading blog posts about strategies and things that don't matter for him. So he's gonna waste all his time, right? He's gonna have only 2 hours to do serious things that will happen. Maybe the guy who has only 2 hours a week cut the fluff and does only things that help him move forward and helping him achieve his goal. Things like backtesting, things like testing ideas, talking to mentors, going to meet up and meet traders. Right? All these things are gonna help him get to his goal faster. And it's not just about the time you spend working, it's about the time you spend working the right way and what you do with your time. That's much more important. So I just want to give you a quick overview of like my student in the past from people that I've coached myself. I've seen that most people can kind of move levels, and I'll show you what that means later, but they can move levels in about 3 to 6 months, okay? And by level, so what I mean is that going from, let's say, backtesting to demo, going from demo to live, going from live, like small live account to bigger live account, medium live account to big live account. All these things take about like 3 to 6 months, and that depends on your level. So going from like backtesting to demo, it's not too hard. You do your backtest, your testing. You could do it in like 3 weeks if you want, a month, but it's gonna take you more time to adjust and everything. So you could do like this like 3 to 4 months easily. Yeah, that doesn't take much time. But again, if people waste time, if they have other things, oh, I have this, they have excuses, it's gonna take longer, right? It's gonna take more time. But people that are really dedicated to it and taking action every day, every week, all the time on the right things, they can do it faster. And then you cannot underestimate the things that will come in like randomly in your life, right? So of course you gotta take time for these things, you gotta adjust, and that might change how much time you need to become profitable. No need to be angry about this, it's just part of life, it's fine. But you gotta take into account these things. So maybe like you backtest something and you thought it would work really well, but it doesn't work. You didn't predict that. You cannot predict that. How do you shift it up and change it? So these things can take more time. That's why my estimates are a little bit more broad, but you're able to do it in that time for sure. Other thing is like, so from demo to live, you're gonna train demo a little bit, and then you can go live. So 3 to 6 months again. So 3 months is like minimum for new traders. You can do more if you want, but you want to look for like a number of trades. Let's say you take like 50 trades in demo and your results are good. But again, if your results are not good or if you make mistakes, it's gonna take you more time. It's gonna be a little bit longer. But the time you spend doing it doesn't matter. It's not about the time. It's about what action you take and how are you reaching your goals. Like no one cares if it took you like, oh, it took me like 3.5 years to reach my goals or trading profitably. Or it took me like 3.7, I'm a loser. Or no, it took me like 4 years, I'm a loser. And then the guy next to it, oh, it took me like 2 years, I'm a winner. No, it doesn't matter. As long as you get to your goal, it's what counts. So the time doesn't really count, right? As long as you put in the action to reach your goals. And then, so we talk about demo to live. So you go live, then you want to scale up, right? That's the point where you're gonna trade at least like 1 year, 1 year and a half to get some data and to make sure that you're profitable. And if you're not, then you're gonna have to adjust. And again, adjusting might take time. It might take you a little bit more time, a little bit less time. It's gonna vary, of course. But I found that people can do this, let's say, backtesting to demo, right? Let's say 3 to 6 months, and then demo to live, 3 to 6 months again. So you're looking from 6 months to a year, and then live to bigger live, or let's say live to like a year of track record. So we're looking like another year. So under 2 years, I found it's quite hard to become profitable if you do it the right way. Of course, if you just like go in and copy trade for someone and everything, You might get there faster, but then you don't have the skill that you've built, and you might even lose money in the long run. So you gotta see it as something you work on. And if you really want to make trading work, if it's like really your passion, like you really believe that that's made for you and you want to do it, then you shouldn't care about how long it takes, right? You should care a little bit, like not wasting time. But you shouldn't care if it took you like a month more than other people, or a year more than other people, even 2 years more than other people. You should not care about this. As long as you like the process, you're engaged in the process, that's all that counts. And that's the thing that I wish everyone, of course, because that feels better, and you're gonna be more fulfilled and happy, even though you're not profitable today. And once you become profitable later on, you'll be happy even more, and that's good, right? That's where you want to get to, of course. So I hope that answers the question. You're looking at, I would say, 2 years plus. It's a journey that's going to take time, it's going to take effort, it's going to take an ability to overcome the challenges, but you can for sure do it. If you're watching this right now, you can do it. Leave me a comment below in the comment section. I want to hear your thoughts as always. Here are a few comments for the past video. I appreciate you guys for leaving comments as always. Also click on subscribe if it's not done yet. I publish one video like this 4 times a week, and I'll catch you back here pretty soon. Ciao.